Native Americans have suffered significantly since contact with European immigrants. They were decimated, they lost political autonomy, they lost significant amount of economic wealth, and they lost their culture. And that has persisted for centuries. The Great Recession was the largest economic downturn that we've seen since the Great Depression. All communities have seen elevated unemployment, but the Native American unemployment rate is typically between 1.5 and 2 times the white unemployment rate. So while things are very bad nationally for all groups, it's very bad for white Americans, it's even worse for Native Americans because they can have unemployment rates almost twice the white rate. And unfortunately, we've had a very weak economic recovery. There hasn't been a strong enough job growth to really push down the unemployment rate. So for the past 5 years, the Native American unemployment rate has been in the double digits. The other problem is the evidence suggests that there continues to be racial discrimination against Native Americans in the labor market. So that's yet another problem. Reservations are under-resourced in infrastructure, in education, in health, and these also contribute to worse economic outcomes. North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa are some of the states that, when you look at all the factors, are doing the worst. But one thing that we can note is that some of the places where Native Americans are doing the worst are some of the places where they make up a fairly large proportion of the population. And unfortunately, this again raises the issue of whether there's discrimination in the labor market, because these areas are also some of the places where whites are doing the best. Mississippi, Oregon, and Oklahoma are some of the states, when you take all the factors into consideration, where Native Americans are doing the best. It seems that, and this is speculation, it seems that those states, there are tribes that are really, again, have taken advantage of the opportunity and resources there to really employ their members and have a positive economic impact. Education is the biggest predictor of employment. American Indians with advanced degrees do tremendously well. So college degrees, advanced degrees, bachelor's degree, the more education, the better. So the fact that American Indians are in such highly impoverished communities, that also negatively affects their educational outcomes. What I show in my analysis is that the dropout rate for adults, we're looking at 25 to 50-year-olds. For whites, about 7% of whites in that age group dropped out of high school, but for Native Americans, it's 13.5%, so almost double. On the other hand, 22.4% of whites obtained a bachelor's degree, but only 12% of Native Americans obtained a bachelor's degree. So that gives you a sense of the educational disadvantage. And we know we have great programs that reduce the number of dropouts. We have great programs that get people to complete high school. And we have great programs that provide training after high school. There's an important higher education initiatives for American Indians. The demand workforce program in North Dakota is a really smart program. It's a smart way to go about job training. What it does is it identifies growth sectors in the community, in sort of electrical work, truck driving, EMT work, nursing, sectors that are growing where there's a high demand for employment, and gives people accelerated training in those specific sectors.
Practice makes perfect, that's what we do it every day.
The demand program provides our community members, both male and female, with a sense of hope because it provides an opportunity for them to quickly complete a program that will allow them to impact our community. So the demand program is providing our community with a sense of hope by creating strong leaders and people that can contribute and help us in our community.
I like to believe that we provide choices, that we provide lots of opportunities for our people to think, to dream, to question, and to really have big aspirations.
There is recovery, but it's going very slowly. So again, the other thing that we've been calling for is for the federal government to make investments in infrastructure. That has a very big economic stimulative effect, can help the country in general and the labor market. And again, many Native Americans aren't on reservations, so they'll benefit. We also need to really understand what's going on right in the states where Native Americans are doing better than average and try to replicate that. And we need to understand what are the problems in states where Native Americans are doing worse than average and try to get them on a better path. In an ideal world, you'll have everything happening at once, right? That's the ideal situation. So you have a multiple convergence of positive forces, but any one would be helpful. You know, the situation is so dire that any positive would be greatly appreciated.